Hey everyone, Christian here, and this is going to be a palm review on Gaussia gomez-pompae, what I like to call the Mexican bottle palm. So this is a member of the Gaussia genus, which stretches throughout Central America into most of the Caribbean, including like Puerto Rico, Cuba, Yucatan Peninsula, into kind of interior areas of Central America. But this one here is probably my favorite just because it basically mimics the bottle palm Hyaphorbe legenicalis with the way it keeps its old boots on there and the way its leaves kind of hang. The bottles have a little more arching in their leaflets, but for the most part they have the same kind of texture to them and just kind of have an overall the same look with a really swollen trunk and the old leaf bases there. They actually are very closely related. Gaussia, Camaraderia, Hyaphorbe are all in the same subfamily, and they share a lot of characteristics when it comes to like flowering and trunks and ground shafts. So this species, gomez-pompae, hyphenated name, comes from the Yucatan area, I believe Campeche and parts of Quintana Roo, and I believe it grows in like northern Guatemala as well, and possibly in one or two other countries. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but anyway, it does like full sun just like a bottle does. This one's growing in probably about a half day's sun. Right now the sun's pretty far down in the sky, so usually it gets overhead midday sun, and this is pretty typical of what a starting to mature gomez-pompae would look like. And so it isn't, I would say, as far as hardiness goes, it's going to be in the upper 9B, the zone 10, closer to zone 10, just because it seems to, the one that I had in my yard back in Venice, it survived all the colds of 2010, 2011, but it did burn badly. It seemed to burn in a frost. If it got frost in the leaves, they would turn brown, a lot like a bottle would, but it seems like it has a little bit more hardness than a bottle. I'd say a bottle is a solid zone 10 palm, where this is like a little bit climbing into 9B, so maybe a degree or two hardier. And they seem to always come back from total defoliation, so they seem to have that ability to kind of like grow through it. They're a little bit faster than a bottle, I would say, and seed is becoming a lot more available. You can get it, instead of just getting a few plants somewhere, you can get a couple hundred of seeds here or there, and they're becoming they're a great palm for the landscape. They have a cool look to them, and they're fairly symmetrical as well. Obviously there's not a lot of other palms here in this shop, but I'm going to try and give you a little close up of the trunk here. You can see how it just kind of swells out, and that's kind of how it holds a lot of its water in some of the drier seasons. But the leaves, yeah, they are kind of, here's a great example of bipinnate leaves. See how the leaves go down and plane down like this and a plane like that, kind of like creating a 30-degree angle of sorts, maybe not quite 45. That's a classic bipinnate leaf there. So, and you can see the new spear. This one's really healthy. Isn't suffering from any issues like scale or mealy bugs that sometimes Gaussias will have. Best thing to do is to plant them out in full sun, so the bugs and scale, they can't stand that. And plenty of airflow as well. But they tend to like rocky, sandy soil. Really rich soil. They'll still grow in, but there's a little bit more chance of rotting. I've seen Gaussias start to form rot, although not die. If you look down here, they will also. Actually, yes, if you can look right, let me see if I can zoom that in. Actually, it makes it easier instead of me bending all the way. Right there, those roots, they're very fat. They hold into the ground very well and makes them very hardy to wind. So definitely something to think about when you're getting a plant is if you live in a hurricane-prone area, will it withstand a hurricane? All Gaussias pretty much do live in hurricane-prone areas and do withstand the hurricanes pretty well. So the seed's going to be almost a complete sphere with a little bit of marbling on it, and it'll grow pretty easily. A lot of heat. Grows basically like a Cocothrinax, except for it's an adjacent germinator, so you don't have to give it as much room, or it doesn't need as much depth. You just need about 2 to 3 inches of perlite or organic mix that you're going to use, and just give it plenty of heat. Try and get it above 30 Celsius, and they will germinate pretty easily. They'll put up these little spikes, so you can kind of pick them out and plant them as you like, and they take off pretty well. You can plant these in the ground fairly young, so from my experience. So it does get a little bit floppier than a bottle does, and that makes it a little bit less appeasing to, like, say, the complete ornamental value. But as far as collectors And I mean, landscape value, it does have a lot of great qualities about it. So you know, you can trim off these leaf bases with, I use like an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, and you just be careful, just kind of just to cut the bases there. But you know, these are all, even though these are kind of like a little bit wispier, like a Chamaedorea, because they're related, these are actually really tough. And there go my sunglasses. And they're very hard to get them completely off without a razor of some sort. So that's going to be about it for Gaussia gomez-pompae. If you guys have any questions about Gaussia or gomez-pompae or other species, leave them down below. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more palm reviews like this, go ahead and subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And I will see everyone next time. Thanks for watching.